can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What? legislation is designed to end the legacy of highway construction that divides neighborhoods and erects barriers to opportunity. The highway to nowhere is a 6-lane open wound in West Baltimore. This mile-and-a-half stretch of road was supposed to be an east-west expressway. Instead, it divided numerous neighborhoods, destroyed 971 houses, 62 businesses, and displaced 1,500 residents.
This, the highway to nowhere, is the poster child for inequality and systematic racism in our country.
Members of Maryland's congressional delegation are pushing legislation designed to undo the damage. The Reconnecting Communities Act establishes a grant program at the Department of Transportation to help communities identify, remove, or retrofit highways that create obstacles to mobility and opportunity.
We're here to say that we are fully committed to finally ending this long-standing monstrosity. We need to right this wrong, we need to heal the wound, and we need to do it now.
We seek one thing: to empower and to reconnect communities.
What to put in its place? Well, anything is possible.
We know that this should be some open space. This should also be opportunity for us to, again, talk about real public transportation. The possibilities are limitless here.
The Baltimore Urban Land Institute proposes getting rid of all the bridges. It recommends soliciting interest in retail and grocery stores, building recreation amenities, and allowing sufficient right-of-way for the possible revival of the Red Line, light rail, and other rapid transit.
This highway to nowhere was a huge mistake, but this is an opportunity, a transformational opportunity. What I always like to say, to turn the tragedy of this into the triumph, not only for this community, but future communities.
The bill could come to the House floor by the end of the month. The Senate could finish working on it in August. Neither chamber expects Republican support. Reporting from West Baltimore, David Collins, WBAL TV 11 News.
Now, the vision would have had traffic from Interstate 70 flowing right into the heart of downtown Baltimore, but it never happened.
Now there's an unfinished patch of highway cutting right through West Baltimore. WMER2 News' Jeff Hager brings in focus how Maryland's power brokers in Washington are trying to make better use of that space half a century later.
What was once considered a vital link to the downtown business district, the Franklin-Mulberry Expressway turned out to be a highway to nowhere. Billed as an extension of the highway system, when work began on what would be limited to 1.4 miles of road through the very heart of West Baltimore, a teenager who would later become a congressman, Kwesi Mfume, felt its impact firsthand.
It meant that you were confined. This became a dividing point for people who oftentimes traverse these neighborhoods back and forth. When this started and when it was completed and up until today, it was a boundary.
Environmental opposition to the highway's extension killed the project, but not before crews had destroyed nearly 1,000 homes and businesses over an 18-block span, displacing 1,500 people.
This, the highway to nowhere, is the poster child for inequality and systematic racism in our country.
Now Maryland's lawmakers on Capitol Hill have introduced legislation to revitalize areas here and across the country, which suffered at the expense of expanding the nation's highway system. They are seeking $15 billion over 5 years as part of the president's proposed $2 trillion American Jobs Plan to right this and the wrongs of 8 other misfit projects in other cities.
It's never too late to correct a wrong if you've got the right vision for the future. So we want open space here, we want safe areas, we want to make sure that there's food security, create bike paths and opportunities like playgrounds for kids.
Supporters of plans to build over this highway say it would bring communities on both the north and south side back together, reducing crime and increasing business here. Reporting in West Baltimore, Jeff Hager, WMAR2 News.
Right, so what does that rebuilding and connecting of communities look like? Well, it's a question the city posed about 3 years ago to the Urban Land Institute, and ULI came back with a 10-year plan to redevelop it into a community green space that would also include mixed-use retail buildings with a grocery store and then leave space for a Red Line light rail track if that project was ever revived. In addition to Baltimore, other cities that would revitalize areas impacted by highways include Wilmington, Delaware, Detroit, Miami, Nashville, and New Orleans.